I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Tuesday, August 18th, brought to you in part by VitaFirm Mineral, made by Biozyme with that good Amifirm in there, made right there in the south end of St. Joe. Mo was there last week, did not get to see my good friend Dave Gallagher that sells that product. He was off working in another part of the state, but I've got a ton of stuff to talk to you guys about here on this visit. I want to get right to it, but first I want to thank everybody for wishing me a happy birthday. It was overwhelming how many of you sent me a birthday wish there, and I know it's just kind of trivial, but it does mean a lot, and it's nice to get those well wishes there. But drove back from the northwest Missouri area back to home base here and in the friendly confines. I've made that trip a jillion times, but never made it as fast as I did on Monday there, just talking on the phone to well-wishers and people about the markets and things that are going on, and probably not the safest way to travel, but it was one of those deals where you kind of look up and you think, have I gone through Wichita? Have I got to Oklahoma City yet? But it flew by pretty fast. But the biggest thing probably to talk about is there another CFAP, the Coronavirus Food Assistance Program. It looks like it could be another one. Sonny Perdue spoke about it here to start the week out, saying that we might have a second round of that. We roughly sent out about half the money that was appropriated for that CFAP. Most of it went to livestock producers. Saying that likely we'll have a second round of that and maybe extend that last date out. They have extended the amount of time that you had to get your form sent in, but they may extend that time as to when you sold your cattle. But I tell you what, a lot of the people that I talked to that took advantage of that program, or not took advantage of it, they were benefited from that program, I guess. You know, a lot of those guys, you know, they really hit a home run on there. Their cattle sold pretty darn well, and then they got that good bonus on there, which that was kind of what it was for. But you know, we've said this before, that we think that maybe that money could have been used to help build more packing plants or do things like that. And a lot of your people that are fighting the minimum negotiated cash requirement, saying that they don't want any government involvement in there, but they're sure glad to cash those cheese checks on the CFAP. But what else is going on out there? Talked to some guys up in the Midwest on Monday. The farmer feeders come out full bore in your feeder cattle auctions up in that part of the country on Monday. And it was kind of evident that they were thinking that a lot of that damaged corn up there in Iowa, where the big windstorm came through, is probably going to be chopped for silage and going to be some extra feed up there. They did not appear that they were worried about the corn prices going to be getting high and that they didn't want to feed their corn. They wanted to take it to town instead. But it looks like they're still going to walk it to town. So that was kind of interesting to hear about that. Your December corn Chicago Board of Trade futures were up 6 3/4 and ended the day on Monday at 344 3/4. But it finally broke your feeder cattle futures there and kind of has caused an upheaval there. But we'll talk about that in a minute. But your cattle board was down pretty significantly on Monday. Now, we've kind of been watching this board run up here of late, the last several weeks, and some of your big prognosticators, your analysts that get paid to do this stuff, and they don't put out free YouTube videos, but those kind of guys, they've been really bullish here over the last month and a half, and then trying to get everybody to get on and push this cattle futures up. And a lot of folks think it's the big outfits just supporting the board and raising it up so they can hedge their cattle. And a lot of these other brokers have been trying to get people to hold off hedging their cattle, their feeding cattle, even though they had already bought their yearlings and put them on feed. They were saying, well, this board's really good right now. Let's just hold off a little bit longer before we hedge them to get up there and get a better bite. Has that started? Now your open interest has picked up a little bit of late, and we think maybe there has been some bigger outfits get in there and start hedging their cattle. If so, that's going to be an overwhelming pressure on your board, and it'll take her down. Now, we don't know if this is just a bubble, if this is just a little hiccup as it's going up. Maybe it's just taking a breath from last week. Your live cattle futures last week were up every single day, and they were down not as much as your feeder cattle. Of course, we know the feeder cattle were down a lot to do with what's gone on with the damage in the Iowa corn crop there, and the corn futures going up subsequently. But we don't know if this is just a hiccup or not. But one of these days, if it hasn't already started, we're going to have a lot of people hedging this board and protecting those feeder cattle purchases that they've made over the last 6 weeks or so. And when they do decide to do that, it's going to be an insurmountable pressure. And then you're going to get folks that get on and ride along and ride it down too. But just kind of warning you guys about that, and just kind of pay attention. It'll be interesting to see if it's already started or whether we're going to continue to go up a little bit more. We know that fat cattle are likely to bring more money this week, so there's support there. Your feeder cattle auctions were higher on Monday. There's support there, yet your futures markets were down, and sometimes you don't let your right hand know what the left hand's doing, and it's kind of that deal there. But let's talk about the board for Monday. August live cattle futures down 70 cents at 106.90. Now they're going to come to fruit here within the next week or so, and they're still trading at about almost a $2 premium to what the weighted average is, and we're likely to see higher prices this week. So they could come together here and just like we thought, and if they do, there would be no reason to see any more down pressure. But October live cattle down 35 cents at 109.87. You go on out from there, and they were down a quarter to down $1.10, but all down on your live cattle futures. August feeder cattle down $1.20 at 142.72. September down 217, getting almost the full brunt of the corn pressure there at 144.40. Go on your out fronts on your feeder cattle, they were down 30 the farthest out traded month to down $2.22. You get up here within the next few traded months. Weighted average on last week's cash cattle movement out of the 5-area feeding region, it was bigger than what we thought. So evidently we had more sales that didn't come in late Thursday, or had a few more than what we saw confirmed on Friday, but we ended up with 109,200 head for the week in the 5-area feeding region. That's big. Compare that to 91,600 the previous week, and just 44,900 a year ago this week, which you remember was just following the fire in Holcomb, Kansas there. But live sales of steers and heifers last week 102 to 107 for the most part. Weighted average 105.06 on live steers. That was up $3.72 compared to the previous week. Dressed steers and heifers range from 165 to 171.50 with a dressed steer weighted average of 168.04. That was up $4.84 compared to the previous week there. Nationwide, 121,500 head of negotiated cash sales, which is pretty darn healthy, but not nearly as much, not even half as much as your formula sales. 256,800 head of formula sales there. Of your cash sales, about 22% of those were for the 2 to 4 week or 15 to 30 day delivery. And your forward contracts made up about 22,900 head of sales last week. Negotiated grid, which a lot of folks are thinking is going to save the industry, and they won't support minimum negotiated cash, but they've changed the name to bid the grid. But negotiated grid was only 21,300 head last week, and that would be the smallest of any of the different ways that you can sell cattle on a direct basis out of the feedlots. But let's look at what's kind of going on this week, what's ahead of us. Let's look at Virginia Cattlemen's Association's Abington Feeder Cattle Association, the Southern Virginia part there. They've got a big tallow auction happening this Wednesday at 6 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock Eastern, and it's going to be broadcast right on dvauction.com Talk to Butch Foster there. I tell you what, he could sell, you know, fudge sickles to ladies in white gloves when it comes to cattle there. But they've got 26 loads of home-raised calves there. They'll be in load lots. They'll be 60 days weaned or more and double vaccinated, and the quality will be outstanding. If you've never gotten any Virginia cattle, you haven't seen any, you need to get on dvauction.com, check out the videos on those cattle, and then tune in to that tele-auction there with Abington Feeder Cattle Association Wednesday, 6 o'clock in the evening Central or 7 o'clock Eastern. Don't want to miss that sale. Some other sales that are going on. How about Ozarks Regional Stockyard video? The first video they'll ever have will be on Tuesday here today. And about 1:30 in the afternoon, tune into DV Auction and get on there and see how that deal goes. They're going to stop the regular sale and sell about 20 lots of video cattle. This will be the first time they've ever done it. Hoping they get along real smooth there. How about Bluegrass Stockyards Lexington here on Tuesday? Normally they would have a big barbecue and a party, get together, everybody have a good time. But as it's gone on for the last 6-8 months, the damn COVID has ruined that deal. So they are still going to have a kind of a special yearling special there. They've got a lot of cattle coming through. They've got 20 plus loads of yearlings going to be through the ring. They're going to have a video sale too. They've got 60 plus loads there. And they're going to have a big special there. We're just not going to be able to have the barbecue and the get together. But Bluegrass Stockyards, Lexington, Kentucky, that's the flagship brand new modern impressive facility they have right there. Don't miss that sale. How about Nevada Livestock Marketing? I talked to Jack Payne on Monday. He's got a big sale coming up for Wednesday, and he's going to have a bunch of light yearlings. And those are hard to find, guys, and they're going to be those hard desert cattle out there, and some of them altitude desert cattle. But on Wednesday, got a lot of 600 to 800 pound yearling cattle, true yearlings right there. He did tell me that included in that offering, Charlie Gardner there from Ruby Valley has brought him 65 of these 7-weight replacement heifers, and they are the real deal. He would like to get some interest on that. That sale is going to be on dvauction.com also. View and bid right there on that sale too. Let's talk about what's kind of gone on your videos, and I failed to tell you about these videos, but you likely knew they were going to happen if you were interested. But Superior's Bighorn Classic started on Monday in Sheridan, Wyoming. 196,000 head on offer. On Monday they sold the weaned calves. They'll sell their yearlings on Tuesday. Western Video sold their yearlings on Monday. They're both big enough. They try to stay out of the way of each other really as far as the classes that they're selling, so the buyers can tune into whichever sale they want to get into. But the weaned calves on Superior's Bighorn Classic on Monday. Top sale I saw come from the Ozark Fisheries Alexander Farms. That's in Missouri. 153 head of weaned, home-raised black baldy steer calves right there from Richland, Missouri, which is right there close to the lake. 153 head, 575 pounders, NHTC, delivery within the next 2 to 3 weeks, 183. That's impressive price there on those. How about Western Video Market? They started their big sale out at Little America there in Cheyenne, Wyoming. They sold their yearlings on Monday, and then they're going to have the fancy calves, a lot of those mountain calves, selling on Tuesday here. Be sure and get on there, and you can view and bid that on dvauction.com also. But get in there. They had 66,000 head of cattle altogether to sell and 17,000 lambs. If you guys are interested in that, that'll be on the tail end of the sale. Best deal of yearlings that I saw on Western Video Market sale on Monday was a Flying Diamond Ranch there. 105 yearling steers there. They were home raised from Falcon, Colorado. They weighed 910 pounds. All the bells and whistles. NHTC, verified natural, gap 4, mid-September delivery. 105 head, weighed 910 pounds at $166.50. Represented by my good friend Glenn Benjamin, that's got some of the best NFR tickets that you can get a hold of, but they're not available. Somebody else has already got them. But we've got some other sales going on that we want to talk about that happened on Monday. Your real-time index ended the day on Monday at 141.98, up 60 cents compared to the end of the last week. How about your big high volume Monday sales? Oklahoma City, Oklahoma National Stockyards, I didn't even slow down, 6,700 head there. Feeder steers were $2 to $4 higher, while the feeder board's down big. Of course, they don't pay so much attention to the feeder board. They're more paying attention to the live cattle board there for the hedging. But your feeder cattle board didn't really fail until late in the session there after your corn continued to climb. But feeder steers $2 to $4 higher on Monday in Oklahoma City. Feeder heifers were mostly steady. Stocker type calves $7 to $9 higher in Oklahoma City on Monday. You think things aren't getting kind of hot here as we end the hot summer? Joplin Regional Stockyards, 4,400 head there, more than they expected. Steady to $2 higher there. Good sale in Joplin. How about Russell Livestock Market? Russell, Iowa. I talked to some of the representatives from there when I was up in Iowa there. That's a really, really hot sale up there in south central Iowa. 2,400 head there. It was all up, but some up more than others, mostly on the calves. And I told you guys, just like the trend on last week's market, your calves are just so much higher. But steer cattle weighing over 500 pounds compared to 2 weeks ago when they had their last big sale. Over 500 pounds, $3 to $6 higher. Under 500 pounds, your Pee-wee steer calves, $15 higher. How about your heifers weighing over 6.5? They were just kind of steady, firm. But your heifers weighing 400 to 650 pounds, $8 to $10 higher, guys. They're really pushing on the lighter weight feeding cattle and anything to turn out also. Got some big quotes to give you from Monday. How about Gainesville Livestock Auction? South central Missouri right there. I mean, in the Ozark Mountains and the rocks and the hills. Gainesville, Missouri. 87 head, 559 pound steer calves, 171.85. How about Faith Livestock Commission? Faith, South Dakota. I think the motorcycle riders are kind of making their way out of there, and it sounds like they got along pretty good, and a lot of them didn't wear masks. They probably got herd immunity now. They're going to be some of your healthiest individuals out. 58 head, 1,015 pound steers, big steers, Faith, South Dakota, $138. Big quote come out of Russell, Iowa there, 67 head, 732 pound fancy steers, $160 and a dime. And that's your feeder flash for Tuesday.